As a single mother caring for a sick child, how far would you go to ensure his survival? Imagine facing relentless cold, hunger, and isolation in the Arctic wilderness, all in the hope of earning enough money for his treatment. This is the tale of a woman who defied all odds, enduring a harrowing ordeal that tested the very limits of human resilience. Her journey is one of unparalleled courage, determination, and an unbreakable spirit. Curious to discover what happened to her? There was a woman born in the remote settlement of Spruce Creek, Alaska, in the late 19th century. Her father died of food poisoning when she was just 8 years old. Her mother sent her and her sister to a Methodist mission school in Nome, Alaska. Raised by missionaries, she learned to read English and sew. At the age of 16, she was married to a former hunter and dog sled driver, and they moved to the Seward Peninsula. The couple had 3 children, but only one survived infancy. Her husband was abusive of her and eventually deserted her and their surviving son, Bennett. After she obtained a divorce, she walked 40 miles with Bennett to Nome, where her mother was living. To survive, she cleaned houses and sewed clothes for miners, but she was still unable to afford Bennett's tuberculosis treatment. Due to this, she temporarily placed Bennett in the Jesse Lee Home for Children, which could better care for his tuberculosis. She became committed to making money to be reunited with her son. The Nome police chief, familiar with her situation, mentioned that some men were recruiting Inuit to join their Arctic expeditions across the Chukchi Sea to Wrangel Island. Believing she might be a good fit for the mission due to her English skills and excellent seamstress abilities, she was recruited for the expedition. The expedition was led by Canadian explorer Alan Crawford, but financed and encouraged by Vilhjalmur Stephenson. Stephenson sent 5 settlers, including her, in a speculative attempt to claim the island for Canada. The team included 4 men and her, who had been hired as a cook and seamstress. On September 15, 1921, the team was left on Wrangel Island, north of Siberia, to claim the island for Canada or the United Kingdom. She had many misgivings about joining the expedition, especially because she had been misled to believe she would be one of many Alaska Native people to join the crew. However, her commitment to her son made her join the expedition anyway. The conditions on the island were adequate at first, but after a year, they turned for the worse. Rations ran out, and the team was unable to kill enough game on the island to survive. On January 28, 1923, 3 of the men attempted to cross the 90-mile frozen Chukchi Sea to Siberia for help and food, leaving her and the ailing Lorne Knight behind. Knight was affected by scurvy, and she cared for him until he died on June 23, 1923. The other 3 men were never seen again, leaving her alone, except for the expedition's cat, Victoria. She survived in the extremely cold conditions for 8 months, learning to hunt foxes, build boats, and sew parkas out of reindeer skin. She was rescued on August 19, 1923, by a former colleague of Stephenson's, Harold Noyce. Some newspapers hailed her as the real female Robinson Crusoe. After her rescue, she used the money she saved to take her son to Seattle, Washington, to treat his tuberculosis. She remarried and had another son, Billy. Eventually, she returned to the Arctic, where she lived until the age of 85. Despite her incredible ordeal, she did not benefit financially from her story and received no compensation from the books written about her. She died in a state retirement facility in Palmer, Alaska, and was buried in Anchorage. Her gravestone includes a plaque reading, Heroine Wrangel Island Expedition. She was Ada de Lutuk, aka Ada Blackjack, May 10, 1898, May 29, 1983, an Inupiat woman. Every elder has a wealth of stories. Sometimes these tales come from their own experiences, and other times from observing others. Unfortunately, the current generation lacks the patience to listen, causing these true stories to fade away with them. The story of Ada is one such tale. If it isn't documented, it risks disappearing along with her.